Katie Kleber here, and we're going to talk about what it's really like to be a brand new nurse. So I like to compare this to learning how to play a sport. So for those of you that don't know and can't tell, I am 6 feet tall and I have man hands.
She had man hands.
I used to play basketball in college and played throughout, pretty much my childhood and young adult period. And I really liken to learning how to become a nurse to learning how to play a sport. When you go into nursing school, often you have had no experience with it at all. Like me, when I went into nursing school, no experience with nursing at all. And going from no experience to being amazing at a very complex skill, not entirely realistic. That's like never having picked up a basketball before and then going to school to learn how to play basketball and then all of a sudden being on a college team, right? There's a lot of work you have to go through to get to a point where you can hop into a college game and really hold your own, right? Like you have to have more than classroom knowledge and you have to have more experience and skill than, just having shooting around and going in the gym and dribbling a little bit, right? There's a huge learning curve there. Learning how to be a new nurse is kind of like when you have been given a basketball, you've just learned a little bit of how to shoot, and it's like you're trying to learn how to play basketball while you're in 5-on-5 going up and down the floor. But the thing is it's really helpful to be in the game, but you don't know all the things you need to know, right? You haven't done a million shots. You haven't, come in over and over again, to build muscle memory. You're kind of doing that at the same time while you're playing, right? You're getting some repetitions in with shots. But what really helps you perform, in those games and those scrimmages is really that time you put in for yourself outside of that, right? You're going home and you're looking up what medications are and what kind of disease processes your patients are experiencing. When you're at work, you're making that priority to be more efficient at things and looking for ways to document that makes sense, that's not going to take too long, and ways to explain things that make sense to patients, how to communicate with physicians and providers, and building rapport, much like you would build rapport with your teammates on an athletic team. So those are things that as a new nurse, you're gonna feel that kind of reality shock of wow, I thought that when I got to this point, I would know what I was doing. When really it's okay, you just got done with the basics of understanding how this works on a big picture level, but now we're going to get really, really granular of how to be a safe and competent nurse on this unique unit. Hospitals are so different. Their processes and procedures, while there's some very consistent things and ways you do things are changing all the time, and the hospitals are responsible for making sure that whatever that practice is that you're doing is the most up-to-date and safe. So they're going to be who's going to do a lot of that granular teaching, and that's how it is. So as a new nurse, you're going to be paired with a preceptor, and developing rapport and a relationship with that preceptor is crucial in your development to becoming a successful nurse, much like it is in athletics with developing a relationship with your head coach. It's their job to make sure that you are a successful, safe, competent nurse, much like it's their job to make sure that you are a prepared and high-functioning member of the team that gets along with everybody and is held accountable. Their job is to hold you accountable, to correct you, to teach you, hey, wait, I would say that differently, or I would do this first and then instead of this. Oh, have you thought about doing it this way? And those are all that is how the preceptor should function and what they should say and how that relationship should look. Preceptors should be correcting you. It's not personal. It's not anything like that. If you can imagine, okay, if you're a basketball player and you've got a new coach and they're saying, hey, wait, can you, let me correct your shot a little, or here, do it this way or whatever. That's not personal. They just know how it is to function and they have that objectivity to see you perform, and they need to make those adjustments, and that's how it should look. It's certainly not a personal thing. So it's important to, have good rapport with your preceptor. Know that it's completely normal to feel like you're starting at square one as a brand new nurse. you are going to feel very slow and inefficient, but that's just part of this massive learning curve. It's kind of like, when you're taught how to shoot a basketball, it feels very clunky and not fluid at all and mechanical. And okay, I put my elbow here, I put my hand here, I do this, I do this, I do, yeah, that feels really not like, doesn't look so hot, right? But the more reps you put in, the more muscle memory you make, the more you feel how long it takes to get to the med room and get the IV pump and get the tubing and then scan it and then start the IV and all that. Like that, you have to feel how long all that stuff takes. Learning how to be a nurse is not this like knowledge transfer from your professors to your brain. It is an experience, much like learning how to play any sport and going from never playing the sport before to being awesome at it, except lives are in your hand kind of thing. So, you expect to be slow and inefficient, but be someone who is committed to becoming more efficient and safe, but also being able to get things done quickly and caring and balancing the science with the art of nursing. Those are, learning how to be a new nurse is that's how it feels. So what it's like is you're constantly overwhelmed. You're constantly trying to figure out what really matters. You're responding to continual correction, but that's normal. You feel like you're never going to get on time and get this stuff done, but I promise that's part of it. You're going to figure it out and the pieces are going to fall into place. It's like, you're not efficient at your tasks yet at all, right? And you have a ton of tasks to do and it feels like I'm never going to get this done. But the more you do it, the faster you will be. The more you can anticipate problems to like anticipate and avoid obstacles, which ultimately will make you faster and make you safer. You'll get better at, communicating with physicians and providers and again, anticipating issues so you don't need to call repeatedly and whatnot. So that's all part of this massive learning curve and it's completely normal. So so what it feels like to be a new nurse is what it feels like to, barely have learned a sport and then suddenly you're on a team. Okay, you've got to put some time in getting to know your other team members, and your coaches and whatnot, and yourself. You have to learn how, your own strengths and what you really enjoy. And that's a whole period of also self-discovery and learning about who you are and what you enjoy. Because I met so many people, myself included, when I graduated, I had no idea what kind of a nurse I wanted to be. And I didn't have time or experience to really learn that until I got into the field and figured out what I loved. So there's no shame in your game if you're not sure what you want to do. You got to be able to get in there and figure it out. So it will be scary, but it will also be exciting. And as I compare this to athletics, you think about all the work you put in, the practices, the weight room and whatnot to prepare for the game, right? Well, I played in college games and I've hit game-winning shots and I've done that. And while it feels amazing to make a good play and have a good move and have a good look and have a whatever, it's nothing compared to saving somebody's life. Nothing. There are people walking around in this world that are alive today that would not be if I was not where I was when I was there. I didn't notice things. I called the physician. We got things situated, or maybe I coded people and we got them back. Like, talk to any nurse, they're going to say the same thing. There are people around in this world that would not be there if it wasn't for their expertise. And it makes athletics feel like child's play when you really think about the how amazing it feels to have literally saved somebody's life, to have family members crying and hugging you, thanking you. Nothing compares to that. And that's part of this wonderful job of being a nurse. And it is, as you get corrected, I don't want you to forget about that you will get to that point where you are competent, you're safe, you're independent as a nurse and able to, manage all these things and notice issues and have patients who survive because of your care and doctors who are so thankful when they see that you're the one taking care of their patient. There's nothing that compares to that. And I'm so excited for you because you're on your way to that. So I hope this video was enlightening but encouraging at the same time. It's all doable. I think it's about managing our expectations and making them realistic, striving for improvement with each shift, not perfection. If we look at each shift like this pass-fail test, you're going to feel like a failure because at the beginning you're going to have shifts where you just get everything wrong. You do everything slowly, you get everything wrong, you miss things. It's going to be really discouraging. But the thing I want you to focus on is not, did I do amazing this shift? Is, am I a better nurse than I was last shift? I want your focus to be improvement, not perfection. That you're going to make your way on that journey to becoming that safe and competent nurse. So if you are someone who really was like, I'm very nervous about this, I want all the help I can get, I like my preceptor, but I need some more, guidance, I've got your back. If you look at that preceptor like your head coach, I would love to be your assistant coach. I created something called the Fresh RN New Nurse Masterclass, where I have this full curriculum of practically supporting you through that process of becoming a nurse. So it's not just, here's all the technical, clinical stuff. It's also the art of nursing, of here's how to tactfully delegate to people. Here's how to call a surgeon at 3 a.m. Here's how to actually build assertiveness with, this really intimidating group of people that you're learning how to be a nurse with. So I created that. I have links to it, or a link to it in the description of this video. It's called the New Nurse Masterclass. And then I also have a ton of other new nurse resources because, y'all, I remember that period of time. It was so challenging, and I wished I had support to help me through that. And it is my joy to be able to provide that. So I have a bunch of free links down in the description as well. So I hope this was helpful and enjoyable. If you found that it was, I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments. If you could hit subscribe and never miss another one of my videos, that'd be super cool. And if you know any other nurse who needs some encouragement, share this video with them. Thanks, nurses. Stay fresh.